My name is Leonardo. I was born in 1452 in a small village nestled among the hills of Tuscany. At that moment, no one could have imagined that my life would become a journey that would inspire millions centuries later. My name is now associated with genius, mysteries, and art. But do you know the path I walked to achieve this? Reflecting on my life, I see not only greatness, but also triumphs, losses, difficulties, and most importantly, lessons. I was neither a king nor a conqueror, yet I left a legacy that endures to this day. What does it mean to be great? Is it victories, wealth, or the ability to dream in a way that dreams become part of the future? I invite you to discover this firsthand. So, let us begin at the beginning. But here is a question. How could a boy from a small village dream of a grand future? What sparked my journey?
I was born out of wedlock. My father, Piero, was a notary, and my mother, Caterina, a simple peasant woman. We were not a family in the traditional sense. Yet, this freedom from conventional boundaries allowed me to see the world differently. My childhood was spent amidst nature, where I would spend hours observing birds, the wind, the movement of water. Everything around me seemed like a mystery, and I wanted to understand every detail. My love for drawing emerged early. At first, I simply copied what I saw, but soon I noticed, if I connected lines slightly differently, a new world would unfold before me. I realized that drawing was not only an art, but also a way to grasp the laws of nature. During those years, I was like a sponge, absorbing everything around me. The scent of grass, the sound of rain, the play of light on the leaves of trees. But ask yourself, how could a village boy with a pencil turn his hobby into something greater? What became the next step on my journey? As a young man, I was sent to Florence, and this marked the beginning of a new chapter. This city was the heart of the Renaissance, a place where art and science flourished. I was fortunate to become an apprentice to Andrea del Verrocchio, one of the greatest masters of his time. In his workshop, I learned that drawing was not only about feeling, but also about technique, mathematics, and engineering. Verrocchio gave me the opportunity to work on major projects. Once, he entrusted me to complete the figure of an angel in one of his paintings. When the work was finished, he looked at it and said he would no longer pick up a brush. My angel surpassed everything he had ever created. But Florence gave me more than knowledge. I began to ponder how art could connect with science. Could I create mechanisms capable of moving like living beings? Could I understand the human body down to its smallest details? These questions began to shape my path. Now consider, what does a person feel when standing on the verge of great discoveries? Where does art end and science begin? And how did I find the answer to this question? My years were full of experiments. I sought to understand the structure of the world, whether through painting, engineering, or anatomy. Paintings like the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper became renowned, but beyond them, I worked on thousands of ideas, many of which were centuries ahead of their time. My designs for flying machines? They were inspired by the birds I observed in my childhood. My anatomical studies? They were an attempt to comprehend the divine mechanism hidden beneath human skin. Every project was my dialogue with nature and God. However, I often faced misunderstanding. My works were rejected, and projects remained unfinished. But isn't true greatness found in ideas that are ahead of their time, even if they meet resistance? Now, what do you think drove me when I faced failures? What gave me the strength to continue, even when it seemed no one understood me? No one lives a life without trials. I was no exception. Many of my most cherished projects were left unfinished. Not because I lacked ideas, but because I sometimes lacked time, support, or resources. Often I questioned, what is the point of dreaming if you cannot bring your ideas to life? I was accused of heresy, of asking too many questions, of conducting studies that did not align with the spirit of the times. Some of my patrons turned away from me. There were days when I sat in my workshop staring at a blank canvas or an incomplete sketch, feeling like I was fighting windmills. Yet each time I remembered, my mission was not to please people, but to explore, to ask questions, and to find answers. For the truth often lies beyond what is socially acceptable. And what do you think helps a person keep moving forward when their world is crumbling? How did I find my answer? When I found myself at the court of Francis I, I discovered a new home. This king was my patron, friend, and perhaps the only person who genuinely believed in my genius. Here, in the tranquility of the French countryside, I could reflect on my life and complete many of my works. I spent my final days surrounded by students, among sketches and manuscripts. I knew that much of what I created would remain only on paper. But I believed that one day, my ideas would resonate. People would understand my dreams of flight, my studies of the body, my engineering designs. But was I content? What does a person feel when they know their time has come to an end? How does one leave a legacy that will live for centuries? The world is full of mysteries, but each one awaits its explorer. Never fear to dream, to strive for the impossible. Let your life be like a book, where every page is filled with meaning. If I have managed to inspire you, then perhaps my life was not lived in vain. Remember, the world belongs to those who dare to ask questions,